అయితే ఇలా చెప్పండి సార్.
Welcome to the class on dynamic forces impacting business. As you're all aware, today the business environment is changing dynamically, and the entire world is facing a lot of situations where they are unheard of. So there are so many factors directly or indirectly impacting the way the people are conducting their business. So let us understand the importance of what are these forces and how they are impacting the business. If you take, for example, the first issue everybody is grappling with today is the trade, people, finance, and data. These are all four important aspects. International trade is on the rise, exports and imports are on the rise, and cross-border trade is on the rise. So naturally, what is happening? So many countries are involved in international trade. So World Trade Organization has promoting and as well as regulating the international trade in a big way. And almost 146 countries are the signatories of the World Trade Organization. So naturally, there is a tendency to export and import. As well as if you see the next element here, the people movement across the globe is also increased. You see, there is a need for global talent. Human talent is moving from one country to the other country, and as well as one sector to the other sector in a very fast-paced manner. At the same time, the financial flows, international money in different currencies is exchanged in a big way because the global financial markets are so robust. The international institutions, foreign institutional investors are bringing a lot of capital into the emerging economies. In that sense, there is a movement of finance or capital from one country to the other country. The most important element here is data. As you know, data, today we are talking about big data. Data is generated every second in a terabyte speed, more than that, in fact. So the big data is giving a lot of options for the companies and the governments to decipher the meaning and the insights of how the people behave or how the customer is demanding, what kind of supplies are there, what kind of products they need, what kind of emerging services they want. So in that sense, if you see, international trade is on the rise, the people movement is also increased, financial flows and data flows have tremendously altered. They are creating a lot of impact on the way the people are doing business. Let us go to the second aspect. The second aspect here is accelerating technological change. The pace of technological development is very, very, very high. So you see, the technology is moving very fast and developing very fast. For example, if I could use the jargon here, artificial intelligence or machine learning, these are all the things that are happening at great speed. Now, computing ability of the systems have increased tremendously, and the data is also available. As big data is available, computing facilities have increased, artificial intelligence has accelerated. Not only artificial intelligence, even in terms of automation of several manufacturing aspects is on the rise. So most of the things, earlier we used to have manual processes, then we moved to the mechanization, but slowly now we are moving to automation in manufacturing also. So in that context, you see the role of technology in the business has increased tremendously. And technology in terms of not only information technology we are talking, technology in terms of green technology is also on the rise. Green technology in the sense because everybody is today is worried about uh, sustainable models, sustainable business models. If you want to have a sustainable business model, naturally you require what? You require to have a smart technology. That technology should last long, or you should conserve the resources, and you should protect the Mother Earth, you should protect the nature. So, in that way, the rise of green industrialization is giving little bit hope, as many skepticals or many people are worried about the global warming impact. So, as an organization, you should not look for the next year current profit or loss. You should also look for the next generation's welfare. So, in that way, the rise of green industrialization is on the rise, and people are buying organic products in a big way. And greening of business, green marketing, and even green finance, people are calling nowadays. So, it is on the rise. So, the mantra here is you should sustain for future generations. So, organizations are nowadays thinking about upgrading their manufacturing technologies and to make them more sustainable models, and that only helps them to survive in the long run. And the biggest threat, I should say, at the moment the world is facing is the geopolitics, the wars. For example, you see the Ukraine and Russian war has almost crossed 2 years. And at the same time, Israel with Middle East, countries like Lebanon, maybe Iran, as well as you see, for example, even Gaza, almost 45,000 people have died. And in that context, if you see, the war is impacting the business in a very, very big way. The race for global talent, as we emphasized already, the talent hunt is on the rise. The skilled people requirement has increased, and different countries are paying a high amount of salaries so that people are moving from one country to the other country. Now, the talent is moving across the globe. So, if the company has to survive, it has to look for retaining the talent, nurturing the talent. So, that is one big challenge for the organizations. Attracting the talent, retaining the talent is a big issue. Apart from talent, now you see there are some associations, organizations, or countries. For example, countries are grouping together. We all know about the BRICS. Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. Earlier we used to call them as BRICS. But today, BRICS is an expansion. And now they are including Iran, Ethiopia, Saudi Arabia also. So that means as an emerging nations, their collective bargaining capacity has increased. And most of the consumer markets are in these countries. As the other leading countries' economies are saturated, now we are moving towards emerging economies. And BRICS is playing an important role here. So, in that, India and China are the leaders, and BRICS is consolidating their network and their might in terms of market capacity is attracting a lot of resources here. At the same time, if you see the other important aspect, now it is also a technology, it is also a tool, it is also like the future, artificial intelligence. The artificial intelligence here, what we are talking, artificial intelligence in terms of what is exactly artificial intelligence? That means the system may be intelligent enough to make certain decisions. But how the system will take the decisions? Because the system will understand from a given set of data models and with the initial programming, the system will try to learn on its own and it will improvise. Now we are talking about Genie AI. That means it will also compare with the standards and it will modify its search or it will modify its product or service so that in future, most of the routine tasks, they could be passed on to the artificial intelligence in a big way. In that sense, it could replace it could replace what I can say certain types of jobs. Maybe clerical work or data entry work could be reduced. Maybe in terms of the point here, what I'm making is the technology is helping uh, to automate the processes, even automate the decision making. Indirectly, that is creating a lot of change in the structure of the organization in terms of delivering the products and services in future. And one important big impact today we are seeing is Asia is on the rise. Earlier, when we are in 40s, 50s, 60s, the West is dominating, now the East is dominating, or Asia is dominating. Maybe South Korea, maybe Taiwan, even China, India. These are the leading countries in manufacturing as well as in the market consumption. So naturally, most of the big multinationals are coming from this particular region. So the next important aspect now, how India is grappling with the change. India's ascent in the sense India is on the rise, as I said. It is one of the leading beacons of the world economy. As India's GDP is almost 7% per annum, GDP growth rate, I mean. So it's one of the leading growth rates and it is the engine for the world economy in a way. So India is moving towards 5 trillion economy. So in that sense, what are the 5 big opportunities for the growth and transformation for business organizations we have to see? Most of the people in India, they were lifted from poverty to empowerment and acceptable living standards for all. So here there is a scope for sustainable housing, maybe supply of food, or maybe welfare activities. Such kind of business aspects are on the rise. In that way, when people coming from lower strata to the middle income to the higher income, their aspiration levels will increase. When their aspiration levels are increasing, they try to buy things which have aspirational values. That's why in India, there is a concept called premiumization. Premiumization is most of the people are buying premium products. I'm not saying most of the people, but at least there is a huge market for even premium products or the latest brands. Earlier, the not so popular brands of the Western world are dumped in Indian market, but today it is not like that. We want the latest iPhone, we want the latest Audi car, we want the latest BMW. So in that sense, you cannot underestimate the power of a common man. And in that sense, even a common man is buying things like ACs, white good items, maybe cars, and washing machines and refrigerators. So in a very big way. So India is on the rise. The second important aspect here is more of urbanization. And sustainable urbanization models have its own value. So if India is to grow, and if India is to grow in a smart way, in a green way, sustainable urbanization business models will help a lot. So a company which is doing these type of practices are helping in urbanization, are helping to solve the urbanization problems, will make a lot of money. Another big push in this country, or India I'm talking, is manufacturing for India in India. I should say earlier we used to say have a program, even now also, Make in India. Make in India not only for Indians, but also for the exports also. So manufacturing for India in India. So I strongly believe in the coming few years, India is in a position to produce even aircrafts. Within 2-3 years, India is supposed to produce aircrafts on its own. Or most of the electronic goods are assembled in India itself. So even international giants like Apple is assembling their phones in India. So in that way, India is on the rise, especially in electronics and even in automobiles and even in defense products. So that is one major aspect. Next important aspect is the digitalization in India. India is way ahead when compared to several other countries in terms of digitalization. Thanks to the UPI. UPI is, you know that it is a platform, unified payment interface that created the base for money transfer from one account to the other account. Even a common man or a roadside street hawker is also accepting digital currencies in a very big way, digital transactions. So India is also a country where it announced its own digital currency. I'm not talking about cryptocurrency. The official government backup digital currency India has announced. So in that sense, most of the Indians are moving towards having smartphones which are connected with internet. In that sense, India is one of the biggest data consuming country. And in that sense, most of the financial transactions, even a transaction of 5 rupees is also done through digital transfer. And another important challenge, as well as the concept to be understood and it has to be explored fully, is unlocking the potential of Indian women. Because 50% of the gender are women, and women, if they were coming to the workforce, India is having a tremendous scope. So in that sense, most of the women are working, but not working in an organized sector. And most of them are working unpaid jobs, and they are serving their families as housemakers. So in that sense, if they could come to the job market in a big way with proper skill set, India's growth potential is enormous. So in that sense, these are the 5 important areas which are opportunities for growth and transformation. So Indian business organizations or multinationals or any budding entrepreneurs should think about these areas for further improvement, and to enter into these areas for business. Finally, I'll sum up